Today, our keynote address will come from Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, the President-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, whose inspirational leadership is an inspiration not only to us, but also to the Iranian people and to freedom-loving people everywhere. I've had the privilege of knowing Madam Rajavi, and I can tell you one thing that has made it very clear to me. Her commitment, her leadership, her dedication has galvanized a worldwide opposition into a major coalition that is determined to seize this moment. Your 10-point plan, all that you have done to bring together around the world 500 opposition groups under an umbrella of efforts to try to change this dreaded regime.
A powerful protest movement has taken root in Iranian society. Despite severe repression, the organized resistance in Iran has managed to expand and over the past year has demonstrated its presence through thousands of activities carried out by resistance units. As far as the role of the international community is concerned, the central element is recognizing the Iranian people's right to overthrow the regime and the decisive role of the Iranian resistance. There is an organized resistance and an alternative in Iran with vast social support and a declared political platform. The international community, particularly the United States, is expected to hold the Iranian regime accountable for its widespread domestic repression, terrorism, warmongering, and its nuclear weapons and missile programs. The international community must stand with the people of Iran and its fight for freedom. I have consistently emphasized that our goal is not to seize power, but to restore it to its rightful honors, the people of Iran and their vote. The People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, PMOI, with thousands of experienced members, and Ashraf in Albania, that is one of its centers, and a democratic alternative, the National Council of Resistance of Iran, NCRI, with international credibility and a clear program are leading this struggle.
We want to see Iran be next in terms of overthrowing. And as all of you know, Iran has been dealt a significant blow. The leadership in the country is on their back feet. You know, and the people of Iran know firsthand the dedication and the perseverance that's needed to stand up to autocracy, and including in Ashraf III in Albania. And I've had the opportunity to visit in Albania to meet with some of the folks who have been in Ashraf and to hear some of those stories. And I know that they're looking to the opportunity when they can go back to a free Iran. And as we look to the future, we have to think about ways to invest. In this Senate, we are interested in thinking about how we can continue to partner with you and take advantage of this strategic opportunity that we have.
And you can count me in for getting more co-sponsors on 599 and making sure that the American people stand with those who want a free, modern, and safe and proud country called the country of Iran that every one of you want to be from and for.
I'm so excited that I am a co-sponsor of Senate Resolution 599, introduced by Senator Tillis and Senator Shaheen. There is no separation between the parties when it comes to standing for justice for the Iranian people and the protection of the Iranian diaspora. places like Albania. We must do everything for those folks who are taking refuge in Ashraf 3. They're deserving of their fundamental rights, and we must work together to ensure that they are upheld, that they are respected, and that we share a common cause. We must say unequivocally that we stand with them against the unchained oppression that they face. So long as I'm a United States Senator and beyond, as long as I have breath in my body, I will stand with the Iranian people against repression and injustice, because my cause and their cause are the same. Thank you.
And we have been consistently wrong about Iran over the last 45 years, and I think we began in 2018 a program we called at the time maximum pressure on the Iranian regime. And economically, it began to work.
The maximum pressure campaign needs to include all of the financial pieces to it, security, restraint, but it needs to add another component. It needs to have a political piece to it. It needs to be pushing and supporting the people on the ground in Iran and from around the world that are opposed to this regime, and do so publicly, and do so boldly, and do so clearly. They need the support. We need to do the same thing this time around. We need to do it now, supporting the people like MEK, other groups that are opposed to this regime in Iran. So, stated clearly, the maximum pressure campaign 2.0 must include a political pressure component, supporting the protesters, calling for an end to the dictators in Tehran.
One of the lessons I think that all of our speakers have alluded to, directly or indirectly, is that with regard to the regime in Iran, appeasement does not work. And it's time now to effect a strong policy that will effect a regime change as we pivot away from past failures. That statement. Last year in Paris and in Berlin, we saw a powerful demonstration of support and intent by United States, Canadian, and European nations. In Paris, all the while in Berlin, 50,000 people marched in support of the NCRI, Mrs. Rajavi's leadership. Today we meet to recommit to the idea that, as in Syria, change is also coming to Iran. A clear democratic change based on Mrs. Rajavi's 10 points, which I've always labeled as Jeffersonian in principle.
Senator, your leadership and your inspirational support for Maryam Rajavi and the NCRI, and most importantly, for the cause of a free Iran and how to get there, and your recommendations and years of proposals and ideas that have helped serve the American people is an inspiration to all of us.
And I, for one, am incredibly pleased that on January 20th of next year, a new commander-in-chief is coming to town. And I will tell you, the Ayatollah is shaking in terror. We will return on January 20th to a maximum pressure policy. That includes vigorously imposing sanctions. That includes using every tool we have to shut down the nuclear research facilities, including the research facility in Fordow. And we are going to cut off their oil. And I'm here to tell you, on January 20th, those oil sanctions are coming back. Iran is weak. They are scared. And I will tell you, I, for one, have for a long time been quite willing to call unequivocally for regime change in Iran. The Ayatollah will fall. The mullahs will fall. and we will see free and democratic elections in Iran.
And as the great Madame spoke to us when we started, she has a 10-point plan. So many of you are very, very aware of her 10-point plan. She most recently spoke last month in November, giving us additional icing on the cake of that 10-point plan. And I believe that our job is to make sure that we are ready to implement a 10-point plan, and we are so ready to find ways to provide architecture that will exist once the regime falls so that we can get running at full speed to do all of the things that our senators talked about, that our ambassadors talked about, and that our generals talked about.
Let me close by thanking all of you for being here. Let me close by thanking the senators who took time out of their schedules to be with us today. Thank you to all of the distinguished speakers who joined us, and for those who have tuned in and who will watch these proceedings. And most importantly, I want to thank Maryam Rajavi, President of the NCRI, for her leadership and for all that she means to us here in Washington to provide a roadmap to help free Iran.